What if everything you believe about skin color begins with one forgotten truth? Not in Europe, not in Asia, but beneath the blazing sun of ancient Africa. The answer changed humanity forever. Look around today. Billions of people wear thousands of different shades of skin. Some are nearly ebony. Others are almost pale enough to reflect the sun. Yet every one of those colors tells the same ancient story. Scientists now believe our species shares one common beginning. Long before kingdoms existed, long before written language, long before anyone imagined continents divided by borders. Imagine waking up nearly 200,000 years ago. There are no cities, no roads, no farms, only endless wilderness and the struggle to survive another sunrise. Every day begins with a hunt. Every night ends beside a fire. Predators lurk beyond the darkness. Nature decides who lives and who disappears forever. These early humans looked remarkably familiar. They laughed, they feared, they loved their families. But one feature connected every community across the African landscape. Their skin was almost certainly dark, not by chance, not by fashion, but because survival demanded it. The African sun was relentless. Day after day, year after year. Its invisible rays shaped every generation. Nature quietly rewarded those best prepared to endure them. Without realizing it, these forgotten ancestors carried the blueprint for every future civilization, every empire, every language, every nation yet to exist. But if humanity began with dark skin, how did pale skin ever appear? And why did evolution choose completely different paths across the world? To answer that, we must follow humanity's greatest journey. For thousands of generations, humanity remained in Africa. Life followed familiar rhythms. The land provided both danger and opportunity. Then something extraordinary happened. Some people began walking into the unknown. No maps guided them. No one knew what lay ahead. Every step revealed unfamiliar landscapes. Every season brought new challenges. The greatest migration in human history had begun. Small groups crossed into the Middle East. Others continued farther north. Some traveled east, across vast open lands. Each journey lasted generations. Children finished the paths their ancestors started. One invisible force shaped every destination. Sunlight became weaker. The farther from the equator they moved, the fewer ultraviolet rays reached their skin. That subtle difference would eventually reshape humanity. For countless years, dark skin had been a powerful advantage. It shielded the body from intense sunlight. It protected against constant ultraviolet exposure. It helped early humans thrive beneath Africa's skies. But new environments demanded new solutions. Less sunlight created an unexpected challenge. The human body still depended on the sun. Without enough exposure, an essential process slowed. A new balance had to be found. Evolution quietly went to work again. No one noticed these changes happening. They were far too slow. Parents looked like their children. Generations passed without dramatic differences. Yet tiny genetic changes continued to accumulate. Nature never plans ahead. It simply favors traits that improve survival. Over thousands of years, small advantages became common. Entire populations slowly adapted. The transformation had only just begun. But here's the real surprise. The first people who entered Europe probably didn't resemble today's Europeans at all. So when did lighter skin truly emerge? The answer overturns one of history's biggest assumptions. For generations, historians imagined Europe's first settlers looked much like modern Europeans. Ancient DNA has challenged that assumption. The earliest inhabitants painted a very different picture. History, once again, proved more surprising than legend. The evidence forced scientists to rethink the past. The first modern humans arrived in Europe tens of thousands of years ago. They entered a land of dense forests and freezing winters. Ice covered vast regions. Food was unpredictable, yet they endured. These pioneers had recently come from warmer climates. Their bodies still reflected their African ancestry. Dark pigmentation remained common. Evolution had not suddenly changed overnight. Nature always works patiently. Imagine meeting one of these ancient Europeans. Their appearance might surprise you. Some researchers believe several had dark skin paired with striking blue eyes, a combination that seems unusual today. Yet it was entirely possible in prehistoric Europe. This reminds us of something important. Human traits do not always evolve together. Eye color, hair color, and skin color follow different genetic paths. Nature mixes them in remarkable ways. Evolution has no fixed design. As thousands of years passed, Europe slowly changed. Communities grew larger. People settled instead of constantly moving. Agriculture spread across the continent. Life itself became different. Farming transformed daily survival. New diets replaced old hunting traditions. Different foods meant different nutrients. The body responded to these changes over many generations. Another chapter of human adaptation had begun. Mutations that allowed better use of limited sunlight became increasingly valuable. Individuals carrying those traits often remained healthier. Their children inherited the same advantages. Generation after generation, those genes became more common. The change was almost invisible while it happened. Eventually, lighter skin spread through much of Europe. Not because one population became superior, not because evolution had a preferred appearance, simply because those traits worked better in regions with weaker sunlight. Nature rewarded adaptation, nothing more. But Europe wasn't the only place facing this challenge. Far to the east, another population encountered the same problem. Their solution would be completely different, and it would reveal just how creative evolution can be. Thousands of miles east, another story was unfolding. Different landscapes challenged different people. The climate wasn't identical to Europe's. Neither were the evolutionary pressures. Yet the need to adapt remained the same. Communities spread across vast parts of Asia. Some lived beneath icy winters. Others settled in temperate valleys. Each environment shaped survival differently. Nature never offered a single solution. Over countless generations, lighter skin also appeared in parts of East Asia. But scientists discovered something unexpected. The responsible genes were often different from those found in Europe. The destination looked similar. The evolutionary journey did not. Think of two inventors solving the same problem. Neither copies the other. Each creates a unique design. Both inventions work. Evolution operates in much the same way. This phenomenon is known as convergent evolution. Separate populations face similar challenges. Independent genetic changes arise. Natural selection favors what improves survival. The result can appear remarkably alike. There was never a master blueprint for humanity. No hidden plan decided how every population should look. Adaptation followed opportunity. Chance introduced new genetic variations. Nature simply selected the useful ones. This explains why human diversity is so extraordinary. People living in different regions developed different combinations of traits. Skin color changed, hair evolved, facial features shifted. Each adaptation reflected thousands of years of local conditions. The farther humans spread, the more varied those adaptations became. Mountains separated communities. Deserts limited movement. Oceans created isolation. Time allowed unique genetic patterns to emerge. Despite these visible differences, every population remained unmistakably human. People traded, migrated, formed families, shared knowledge. Our histories stayed connected, even when our appearances changed. But perhaps the biggest misconception is still ahead. Humanity was never divided into just a few simple groups. The real story is far more complex, and it completely changes how we should think about skin color. Today, people often divide humanity into simple categories: black, white, Asian. But nature has never worked in such neat divisions. Skin color exists on a continuous spectrum. Every region on Earth tells a slightly different story. Communities adapted to local climates over thousands of years. Those adaptations blended together across neighboring populations. There were never clear biological borders. In North Africa, sunlight remained intense. Across the Middle East, conditions gradually changed. South Asia experienced its own environmental pressures. Every landscape encouraged different combinations of traits. Each population followed its own evolutionary path. Farther east, new adaptations emerged again. Across the islands of Southeast Asia, diversity expanded even further. Australia developed its own ancient human story. Later, people crossed into the Americas. Every migration added another chapter to humanity's history. As families moved, they also met other communities. They exchanged knowledge, shared cultures, raised children together. Human diversity continued growing through both adaptation and connection. That is why no two populations are exactly alike. Some adapted to stronger sunlight, Others adapted to weaker sunlight. Many inherited traits from several ancient migrations. The result is the incredible variety we see today. Yet beneath those differences lies an extraordinary truth. Every person alive belongs to the same species. Our DNA remains overwhelmingly alike. The traits we notice first represent only a tiny fraction of who we are. The similarities far outweigh the differences. If you could trace every family tree backward through time, the branches would slowly merge, languages would disappear, nations would vanish, cultures would fade into the distant past. Eventually, humanity would meet again at a shared beginning. But one final question remains. If we all came from the same ancestors, why do skin colors still continue to change today? The answer reveals that evolution has never truly stopped. Modern humans are still part of an ongoing story. The forces that shaped our ancestors continue to shape us in subtle ways. To understand that remarkable journey, we must look beyond ancient history, because humanity's greatest experiment is still unfolding. Many people imagine evolution as something locked in the distant past, as if it ended with mammoths and stone tools. But evolution never stopped. It simply became harder to notice. Its work continues with every generation. Human populations have always been moving. Some journeys lasted centuries, others happened within a single lifetime. Where people settled often determined the challenges they faced. Nature responded one generation at a time. The environment constantly influences survival. Sunlight is only one piece of the puzzle. Climate matters. Food matters. Even disease can shape human biology over time. Yet skin color remains one of evolution's clearest examples. Unlike many traits hidden inside the body, pigmentation is visible. It tells a story written across thousands of years. A story recorded in our genes. A story still visible every time we look in the mirror. No ancient leader decided these changes. No civilization planned them. There was no grand design, only countless generations adapting to the world around them. Nature quietly did the rest. Imagine watching this process in fast motion. Generations would pass like seconds. Families would migrate across continents. Small genetic changes would spread. Entire populations would slowly begin to look different. To the people living through those changes, nothing seemed unusual. Children resembled their parents. Communities recognized one another. The transformation was almost invisible. Only history reveals the full picture. Modern science allows us to read that hidden history. Ancient DNA uncovers forgotten migrations. Archaeology reveals lost settlements. Together, they reconstruct journeys that vanished thousands of years ago. The past slowly speaks again. Every discovery reminds us of the same lesson. Humanity has never stood still. People explored, adapted, survived. That restless spirit shaped the world we know today. But perhaps the greatest surprise has nothing to do with skin color itself. It is how little separates us beneath it. The next chapter reveals the remarkable genetic bond shared by every person on Earth, and it may change the way you see humanity forever. Stand beside anyone on Earth. Your skin may look different. Your language may sound unfamiliar. Your traditions may seem worlds apart. Yet your shared history reaches back to the same beginning. Modern genetics has revealed an astonishing truth. Humans are remarkably alike. The differences we notice first are only a tiny fraction of our biology. Most of our genetic blueprint is shared, far more than many people realize. Think of humanity as an enormous family tree. Today, its branches stretch across every continent. Each branch has its own story. Each has grown in unique directions. But every branch is connected to the same trunk. Travel backward through history. Empires begin to disappear. Borders fade away. Languages slowly merge into older forms. Eventually, every path leads toward ancient Africa. Long before pyramids rose from the desert, before Rome ruled the Mediterranean, before the first cities appeared, our ancestors shared the same homeland. That forgotten beginning belongs to us all. The labels we use today are surprisingly recent. Civilizations created names for peoples and places. Politics divided nations. Cultures developed identities. But evolution came long before any of them. Nature never recognized kingdoms. It never cared about flags. It responded only to survival. Where sunlight changed, adaptation followed. Where environments shifted, new traits emerged. Over thousands of years, migrations crossed paths again. Communities traded, families grew, different populations mixed repeatedly. Human history became increasingly interconnected. That is why no modern population exists in complete isolation. Every generation inherited pieces of older journeys. Every face reflects countless ancestors. Every family carries echoes of forgotten migrations. History lives within us all. But one mystery still remains. If skin color evolved to solve environmental challenges, why do neighboring populations sometimes look so different? The answer lies in the unpredictable nature of evolution itself. Evolution doesn't follow a straight path. It experiments constantly. Small genetic changes appear by chance. Most disappear forever. A few change the course of history. When a helpful mutation appeared, it gave its carriers a slight advantage, not superhuman strength, not extraordinary intelligence. Sometimes, it simply helped them survive a little better, and that was enough. Over hundreds of generations, those small advantages accumulated. Families grew larger, communities expanded, useful traits spread quietly, without anyone realizing history was unfolding. Meanwhile, neighboring populations often lived under different conditions. One valley received stronger sunlight, another remained cooler for much of the year. Mountains separated people for centuries. Nature treated each region differently. That is why neighboring communities sometimes developed noticeably different appearances. The changes were gradual. The causes were local. Every environment wrote its own chapter. Every population became part of a larger story. Then came another powerful force. Human migration never truly stopped. People continued exploring, trading, building relationships across distant land. As populations met again, their histories intertwined, genes mixed, cultures blended. New generations inherited traits from many different ancestors. Human diversity became even richer. This is why skin color cannot tell someone's complete history. Behind every face are thousands of ancestors, thousands of journeys, thousands of choices made by people who never imagined the future. Every family carries a unique timeline. The colors we see today are living records of ancient migrations. They reflect changing climates, changing landscapes, changing opportunities. They are chapters in humanity's shared biography. But perhaps the greatest misconception is still waiting. Many believe skin color divides humanity. History tells a very different story. The final chapter reveals why our differences are far smaller than they appear. For centuries, people assumed skin color revealed deep biological divisions. Modern science tells a different story. The differences we see are real, but they are remarkably small. Our shared ancestry is far greater than our visible diversity. Imagine the entire history of Homo sapiens as a single day. For most of that day, humanity lived in Africa. Only near the very end did people spread across the globe. The diversity we recognize today appeared during those final moments. In evolutionary terms, it happened surprisingly recently. That perspective changes everything. The colors of our skin are not ancient divisions, they are recent adaptations. Small adjustments made by one species, responses to different environments across thousands of years. The African sun shaped our earliest ancestors. Northern skies shaped later generations. Eastern landscapes encouraged different genetic solutions. Every region left its mark. Every journey added another layer to humanity's story. No population escaped evolution. Everyone adapted. Everyone changed. Everyone carried the legacy of those who came before. That is the true history written beneath our skin. Today, airplanes cross oceans in hours. Information travels instantly. People from every continent live side by side. Yet our ancestors spent thousands of years making journeys on foot. Their determination built the modern world. Every face you pass carries echoes of forgotten migrations. Every family preserves fragments of ancient survival. Every community reflects countless generations of adaptation. History is not locked inside museums. It walks beside us every day. The story of skin color is not about separation. It is about resilience. It is about exploration. It is about humanity's remarkable ability to thrive almost anywhere on Earth. That is the legacy our ancestors left behind. When we look beyond appearances, a deeper truth emerges. Our differences tell us where our ancestors traveled. Our similarities remind us where they began. Both are essential parts of the same human story. Neither exists without the other. And now we arrive at the final chapter. One question remains. What should this forgotten history teach us today? The answer may change how you see yourself forever. 200,000 years ago, our ancestors had no idea what humanity would become. They couldn't imagine skyscrapers. They couldn't imagine satellites. They couldn't imagine billions of people spread across every continent. They were simply trying to survive another day. Yet within those small communities lived the ancestors of every nation alive today. Every language traces back through countless generations. Every culture shares the same distant roots. Every family is part of the same extraordinary journey. The story always begins in the same place. The colors of our skin are not symbols of separation. They are living evidence of adaptation. They reveal where our ancestors traveled. They reveal the environments that shaped them. They reveal the incredible flexibility of the human species. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this. Humanity never became different species. We remained one family adapting to different worlds. A little more sunlight here, a little less sunlight there. The next time you look in the mirror, remember that your skin tells a story written over thousands of generations. It is a story of migration, resilience, survival, and adaptation, not division. If you enjoyed uncovering this forgotten chapter of human history, subscribe for more documentaries that reveal the incredible stories hidden beneath the surface of our past. Until next time, keep asking questions, because history is never as simple as it first appears.